to my channel, to Blue Lotus Gardens. Today I will discuss on how to identify issues with your plant and how to resolve them. The first one I will introduce is a snake plant. So this plant, I kept it in certain conditions so that way we can discuss on the issues to tackle and what to do. So what I did was I overwatered it and I kept it in a very bright, direct location outside. So that way I'm troubleshooting as I'm experimenting. This is like a big propagation, and as you can see, there's growth. They're just gonna grow, but we want to care for them properly. So with this one, we're gonna identify that this was overwatered, and you can tell this was overwatered and also a direct lighting issue where it was scorched from the tip. And you can always tell when these guys get a little overwatered, pardon me, is when their leaves start to curl and get a little squishy, right around the edges. You can tell right here. So what we're gonna do with this one is the soil medium is good. I've let it dry now. But you can still tell that it's still a little wet, more than it should be. These really should be relatively dry. They like a nice dry, mid-moist condition. So I keep them in terracotta because it still keeps them in that environment with their porous terracotta pots. And this one is underwatered. You can tell with the wilting of the leaves, and also the soil. Now, if you're using a heavy peat, if you're going to be using a heavy perlite soil mix, you want to be aware that you should keep it a little bit more wet, moist, the soil, especially if you're going to keep it in terracotta, because it's porous. It's really nice, but it's porous, and it's also a good these are also good pots, so it's easy for you to troubleshoot your issue a little bit better than with like a glazed pot or a plastic pot. It's because of the porous environment that it is in. You could easily tell without a moisture meter, in my experience, that it'll bounce back faster if you're conditioning it a little bit better than before. So what we're going to do with this guy is we are going to trim off the little leaves that are wilting, because the way a plant works is the energy transfer go through the stem. And so as you see right here, it is underwatered. This is a variegated Schefflera, because of the dried out stem, the soil, the pot. I can also tell because there's no what is it called? There's no patina on the pot. So I now know that this pot was kept in a very relatively lighter than moist condition. because the water will, if you keep it in a more more wet condition, you can tell with the patina on the side. I like it. I think it's cool. It gives it a nice little edge. You don't have to do so much, and it really it looks really nice. But yeah, some people are afraid of ruining their pot. No, go ahead. It's fine. It looks great. It looks cool. It looks vintage. Seen some great designs out there. There's a girl that does painted pots in a face group that I'm in, and I'm always just tempted to keep them in stock, so that way I can sell them with the plants, or for like with her credit and everything, because I think they're just great. Like, it's a really good design. So let me keep on going and not ramble. So next you're gonna want to choose a pot for it. And since we're going to not repot the whole plant, and it does have some propagations already inside of it, I'm not going to take the whole thing out. I am just going to trim it up from here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And these are the pots I'm going to be using. Simple, clear, plastic pots. I've already dosed them with a little bit of cinnamon. I use cinnamon as an antibacterial. It also deters the pest away, so it's organic and safe. And for the Schefflera, I am going to pot it in this pot because the roots in it, will also give it some nice room for the roots to move a little bit, but also because I like this cover pot and it fits, so it's a win-win on both ends, you know. Plus, when I water it, we're going to talk about watering afterwards. So we're back. I've just infected my scissors with alcohol. What is the rag? Also, you don't want any diseases to transfer from pests to, from if any that are on the plant. So, you ready? I'm gonna get closer for this. This way you guys can see. Alright, we're gonna chop this guy all the way at a 90-degree angle on the bottom. So, there we go. There you are. Now, I will show y'all the roots, or you want to let this callus a little bit overnight. If you're just going to let it just be this one big leaf, I can show you how to cut this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So 6 inches is ideal for your plant. And get 1, 2, and 3. I actually cut the wrong one. This happens. We are going to propagate it anyways, so. He needed some anyways, why not, right? So, here's the disease leaf. And we're going to cut it. So now you're gonna ask probably, can you save this? Maybe. You could probably cut that part off and try to save it. It does have a little bit of some system to it that's viable, so I would try it. Why not? You know, try to save the plant. So this one we're gonna chop off. From here, make 2 plants out of this. Now first you want to, I saw summer rain oaks do this, and it really does help because this will help you identify your snake plant from the bottoms to the tops. You want to do a good clean triangle. That will let you know that's the bottom. It's helped me out so many times, and this is why I can get so many propagations out of this. Okay, and then the next one we're gonna cut right here. Alright, here's one. Now you can see this is the bottom, this is the top. I would let it callus a little bit overnight and then stick it in soil. These work better in a soil propagation than a water propagation. That does not mean you cannot water propagate it. It means it just prefers to be soil propagated. You know, we all prefer something over another. So here's the other one with the little disease part. First, we're gonna identify what the bottom is. Alright. That way you know that's the bottom. Two good snake plant cuttings. I think these are the best. Just, you know, they'll grow really fast. And you always want to have more than one cutting. It helps. Because if one of them will eventually fail. So one out of these 3, obviously this one's gonna fail, but you're gonna have one that might fail, and that's okay. Just keep going. Now with this one, we're gonna try this. We're gonna identify the bottom. Here we are. And cut around the part that is viable. So this little mountain-shaped snake plant over here. Just okay. We're gonna try this. I mean, it's a good way of knowing if you could do this or not. Watch it sprout snake plants from everywhere. That would be actually really cool. And then this part, you just throw it away. Or actually, put in your compost. Put this in your compost. I put all my plant stuff in my compost, in my yard, under the leaves. Sometimes I see it all sprouting back up, like, I didn't know I had those lilies there. Now, here is another one we're gonna do. Now, I have all these cuttings. Christmas is coming up and Thanksgiving, so if you see snake plants at your door, you're welcome. Happy holidays. Now, some of you might be eager to just cut this part off also for this plant. I personally wouldn't do it. I want to as well, but I wouldn't do it because when you're doing that, you're going to reduce the amount of energy that it can receive. Since it's still growing, it's not a full dark green. You want to just let it hang on there. I have this cool little peacock coffee cup. Because, well, there's peacocks around here, so peacock coffee mug. Behind me you can see the big old snake plant that I have. I just love it. It just grows. I give it like a good watering, maybe like once a month. There it is. And that Calathea, same. Because it's in terracotta and it's just, it absorbs it all. I just do it once a month. Now we're going to pot those cuttings into here. I'm using this soil mix, Mayer. Alright, so I filled my soil up. This is soil, the Mayer potting soil with Command. Really good stuff. Great to revive your plants, and if you have a dying plant, repot it in that, and like in a week, it's awesome. Not a paid advertisement, I'm just starting out. So these aren't Callus yet. I'm going to give it overnight, but what you want to do is have a little hole and then you place it in there. So it'll look something like this. And you could tell that this is the top because we cut the bottoms into triangles. And just fill it all the way up with your cuttings. And in about a week you should see some growth. And in a month, I wouldn't say you would get this much, but you should get something similar to that. from my experience, that's what I've been seeing. I should really do a time lapse. If you are interested in me doing a time lapse of these snake plant cuttings, maybe in different soil mixes, like this one versus another one, and seeing the time lapse grow from those two different mixes, that would be cool. I like doing experiments. There's experiments all over the house. Experiments, cuttings, propagations. There's just all over the place. Recently, I had been doing a lot of repotting for some people and helping them out with how to repot some things. I did a big repot for a ZZ Raven with my friend Lauren, so I'll be posting that one up, and I hope you guys are enjoying all this. I'm gonna take a quick pause. Alright guys, so I actually decided to just put the cuttings in the soil, and we're just gonna see them grow from here. This will be our time lapse. I always like doing 3 cuttings in a pot, depending on the size. Now, I potted this wrong, so that way we could identify not to pot these up this way. So I pot 3 of these in this pot like this. You have to remember how the snake plant grows. It will grow out from the bottom and then outwards. And if it's doing that, it will likely hit this one. This one will hit the other one, and it might grow smaller, it might not grow as fast. So I'm going to show you actually how to place them into your soil. You want to place them opposite of each other, but also giving them ample room for them to grow on each end. So a finger like that always works. I try to be as mindful of the plants as possible, you know? They're doing all the hard work. I'm just trying to set them up. Set them up for success. Here we are. Like a little crown. Alright. And now we're going to do that to all of them. I should probably do like a local giveaway or something for this. I live in Dallas, and at the moment I can't really travel a lot of places, but I do pickups from my store. I have greenhouses located. I have greenhouses located in the front yard and in the backyard. I think it's always cool seeing whenever the kids come by, and they see all the little veggies and plants growing. It's nice to see that. Alright, so I have my 2 propagations for my snake plants. Now for the Schefflera, the variegated Schefflera. First, I gotta cut him. Now you're gonna think, where do I cut? What do I cut? I don't know what to cut. This brown piece you can cut. The one right above it you can cut. You can actually propagate these. You can put some honey on the bottom and stick it in some soil, and it will grow. Now, this is a fun little trick to identify if woody cuttings are still usable or not. All right. To check if your woody stem cutting is still usable, you want to scratch the woody part a little bit, or in this case, the stem of this one, and I can tell where to cut, how to cut. As you can see, it's still good. It's not all dead. So if I cut from here, trim off some leaves, it'll root. And I'll show you how to do that. Well, there's one that just fell off. Alright. So these are the leaves that I leave. Leaves that I leave. Who said I can't speak? And then we're gonna cut right here. Alright, this is a good cutting. Nice good stem, no damage anymore. 2 leaves. Honey acts as a natural rooting hormone. Put a little honey on it, stick it in the soil, it'll grow. Alright. This one you can leave 3 leaves and cut right here, and it will grow. Here we are. There's one that fell, there's another one. This one is good right here. That. Now we're going to do the bottom. So what you want to do, since it has that little drainage hole on the bottom, you could just poke it on the bottom like this, a little bit. Give it a little tap. Don't give it too hard of a tap because you could shock your plant and also break your terracotta pot. Learn from experience. Alright. So, this is the root ball. Now, nothing's wrong with the soil or anything. It just is a little too dry. So what we're gonna do is place them in some more soil. Some different soil. Here we go. Some people like to soak the whole root ball. I like to leave it like that much. Because I'm going to fill it all the way up to here with soil. I'm going to leave him on the side right here. Right. Got my container. Underneath me there is a little tray. It's dirty, so I don't think you guys want to see that. You might want to see that. We're all very intrigued in our planting. There we go. So right now what I'm doing is I'm filling it all the way to where I see that it needs it. And right now I have it that much. So I would say up to like my knuckle is a space that is left. But I'm actually going to fill it up a little bit more. It smells so nice in my room. I light up incense. They're it's like a fire powder or something. It was from a local shop and it smelled really nice, and I said, this one is mine. Alright guys. So you want to make sure you're holding your have down here, because I'm holding it with my thumb, the stem, and then pushing down around the stem for the soil to get compressed a little bit on there, so it holds it in the middle. I don't know if it's my OCD or that's just the way it needs to be, but that has always seemed to be something to focus on with the plant is keeping it in the middle of the pot. I believe it's with roots. I'm not sure, really, but here we have the variegated Schefflera in a new container. And I'm putting it in a nursery pot because we're gonna let this guy heal, grow, become new. Now none of the leaves are falling. You shave it. These are good leaves. But I get the urge to want to put it in a pretty pot. So cover pots, cash flow pots are the trick for me. And that looks pretty. I think that looks really pretty. I can actually, there you go. That's as much as I use. That's for this plant. Or just for like one general plant. You can always just even use it as a soft fertilizer. It will. The next day you'll see your leaves greener. Your plant will really appreciate it. I'll post updates for my next video about it. I like that sound. I don't know, I'm about that sound. Are you guys about that sound? Alright. I'm just gonna stir it with my finger. Because it's fine. It's just magnesium sulfate. It's not acid. Okay. Now, you want to water it this way. I'm going to show you the guys like this. Alright. You give it one good watering, and you just wait, and you let that water evaporate into the soil. And as you see the water evaporate, you can tell if it needs more. So water has not come out of the container, so we're going to add more. You're going to wait, let that water absorb down. Now I'm going to have a cash pot right here, and it's easier to determine your watering if you pull it out of it, because if you leave it inside of it, it's going to end up watering from the bottom. Water is going to still be sitting there, and then your plant is really not going to be happy. So now I still haven't seen any water come out, but I hear the sound of it being absorbed right here. I can feel it. It's nice and heavy, but we want the whole thing to be a good moisture. So then, just a tad bit more. Starting to get there. still being absorbed really fast. But now it's a little bit more wet. And it's a little bit on the heavy side, so we're going to just leave it like that. All of it's been absorbed, and then tomorrow I'll check on it and see how it's doing. We're going to water these now. I save everything because I'll try to regrow it. And if it grows, little Schefflera is for everybody. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. You're not hurting anybody for trying, so it's all good. So what I'm doing here is just adding the rest of the soil. I don't like to just not use any of the soil that's left over. It's good soil. These I am not watering with magnesium sulfate. It is not needed. They're not in recovery. They are cutting. They actually, if you're doing a cutting from water transfer to soil, I usually try to keep that cutting relatively on the more moist side. So I fill the container all the way up to the lip with water. Now you have your cuttings. Perlite or pumice, if you're using, works as a good aeration for your soft roots, so your tender roots, your tiny roots, and so your little begonias will appreciate it, or anything that has sensitive roots. I'm actually going to pot these since I have an extra container with soil. I also filled this one up with water all the way to the rim of it, and I'm just letting it soak all the way down. Here we are. The Schefflera cuttings. They look cute. Right. Here you are, everybody. You have the new Schefflera in a pot, a repot, and how to save it, and how to trim it. And you also got a nice, good experience on doing some cuttings. A little tip on some snake plant cuttings, and what not to do and how to care for your snake plant. I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I'm new here, and I will be trying to post a more consistent schedule on videos. I have a lot of repots to do and a lot of things to address with them. There's succulents, ferns, philodendrons. There's a ZZ raven cutting that I have an idea for. Lots of ideas. So I welcome you to join me in my adventure on this channel, and I appreciate you letting me ramble on. Y'all have a great day if it's morning, day, or night. Take care. Bye.